Your boy Henny back at it again. I wanted to talk about AI. I know there's a lot of hype around it nowadays. Everybody seems to be scared. Is my job going to get lost as a software engineer? And yeah, like I would be concerned too. There's a lot of FUD in the market. Like a lot of people, FUD means fear, uncertainty, and doubt. People are talking about AI potentially taking our jobs, but hear me out for a second. Here's my thesis. If AI does essentially start to become like the standard, we're going to need engineers to create AI programs. I think we're at the very early beta phase of AI and seeing exactly how strong it is. And so I do believe that it's now kind of become a mandatory skill to learn, especially if you're an engineer. If you're still stuck in just like building applications or websites, like I think your days are done. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. I think a lot of junior engineers are also gonna have to work a little bit harder. So I do believe that times are evolving, but I don't think software engineering is done. I just think it's evolving like anything else. If you think about history, like the .com era, the boom of the websites, like it was a very short-lived period. There was a lot of money flowing into websites, in the early 2000s. And then it tanked, and then the market, matured, and then after that, small companies started building up like Facebook, MySpace, and I know you guys know some of those. If you guys have been there, you guys have seen the .com era at that time. Then we had the app boom, right? Like 2008 to 2010, like when the iPhone started coming out, right? We're moving away from like flip phones. Everyone started downloading apps, and then the app boom took off, and then like apps were such a new thing, and that had its hype, and then apps have kind of matured now. Like now there's only so many companies now that are owning the rights to certain apps, like the Googles, the Facebooks, the Netflix, the Amazons. So I think we're gonna go through another period of that, right? Like right now we're at the boom of the AI, right? So boom, here it is, money pouring left and right into AI. But I think at some point it's going to stop. I think the hype is just going to end. I think there's not going to be a lot of money going into when this ecosystem matures, and then AI is just going to be everywhere, like kind of like websites were, right? But then the market will mature itself again, and then real companies will start being built. Because right now, people in venture capitalists are throwing money at anything that has AI in it. But I think a lot of these companies aren't going to succeed, or most likely be acquired by other bigger companies. And that just is how the game works. So I do see that, this market will tank at some point, right? Just, things will slow down, things will mature over time. And then back to the norm, program, right? Now it's like, dude, you can't just be a web developer. Like the times of web development were like in the early 2000s, where that was like the gold rush, or just being an app developer. That was like 10, 15 years ago. And so then we're gonna get into the era of AI. Like you need to have all of that with AI, right? And I think those who are, embracing AI are going to be the ones leading the next 10, 15 years. And that's kind of what I've been doing, I'm saying? Like I've been educating myself on a lot of stuff in AI. And I think I'm going deeper down the rabbit hole where I'm actually, pursuing my degree in data science. Because, I am a computer science student right now at Harvard, and I love what I'm studying. But I think there's more than meets the eye here. Again, like I just explained. Computer science is just like the branch, it's like the tree where AI is like a branch. And so yes, I'm getting a foundation, taking general courses, but my goal is to learn more in-demand skills. And so kind of keeping an open mind to that space. But yeah, that's kind of just what I wanted to talk about. I mean, it is a weird time, even me, like, trying to get work now is a little bit hard, and it's because of the demand has changed. And so that's just kind of how everything is in life, though, like I think developers have always thought that this was like a safe space, like you can always just get a job right away. And like the more years you're in this game, like seniority is really important. And then also just realizing when things, like things end. A lot of us are trying to get work in the for-profit space. We're trying to work for these startups, and these companies are raising money. But what you guys fail to realize is these companies are running on very limited lifeblood. They're not really like, it's not a charity for most of these companies. They have a business objective to meet, and they're not just trying to sponsor people and give them $100,000 or $200,000, even though that's what people think. People are told, oh, you can make all this money, but it's not like that. Like you'd have to be a leader in your industry to be even touching that money. And like I said, pre-pandemic, it used to be a period where there was a lot of demand, like the market had matured, right? Apps and companies needed a lot of engineers, but now we've realized we don't need a lot of engineers. And again, we're kind of going through that phase, like I said, like we're kind of figuring this market out, and at some point it'll just stabilize and it'll mature, and the demand will be there again. So I do believe right now, if you're a junior engineer, if you're a computer science student, right, like just learn, just keep learning, you know what I'm saying? Keep staying up to date with what's going on, and your time will come. But I see a lot of people getting fed the dream, and I kind of feel bad. Like, I was there, like 8 years ago where I thought, okay, this was going to be easy to break in, and it's not. Like, I'm really sorry, but there's so many overqualified candidates in the market right now, and it's insane. Trust me. And so, like, my only advice to you guys who are still trying to get into this is like, don't quit, but just like, don't also like, just be patient. You gotta play the game, bro. Like, your time is coming, but it's not today, right? You gotta just kind of keep grinding day by day, and that's what I'm doing. I'm networking, I'm hacking, I'm putting out apps consistently. I'm working with other engineers, even on side projects. Some of the people I work with work at companies, and it's been dope. Like, I'm able to even show some of the projects I'm working on and helping them in different areas that they're not great at. I've worked with engineers who are great at backend, who are great at systems, who are great at infra, and like I just do apps, right? So I'm like an app developer engineer. I have a good sense of mostly front end stuff, but I'm really decent on the back end. Like, not as great as I am in the front end, but I know my strengths, and I think we all can just come together and build stuff, because at the end of the day, you need a team. So yeah, times are changing, guys. I'm not saying, like I said, is AI taking our jobs? I mean, we're at the beginning of this. AI wasn't what it was a couple years ago, what it is now, and we're seeing it all over the place. So let's just kind of keep an open mind, not be demoralized or unmotivated because the market is just not responding. Just stay positive, and like I said, your time will come, but just keep learning too. That's the best thing you can do during that time that you're unemployed or you don't have a job, right? I got lucky that I actually have a client now. Like I said, I posted this on the last video that I got a client, and so I'm gonna be working on that project over the next few months. It's not like crazy pay, bro, but it's enough to get me at least until the summer, until I figure out my next gig. And so it's gig work, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like, oh, hey, I have a company and I'm thinking about buying a house now if I work 1-2 years. Like, dude, none of that. Like, I'm gonna be able to just pay some bills off that I have and a little bit of debt that I've accumulated over the time of being unemployed, and just be able to get by working on something. But yeah, it's just, I wanted to share that with you guys because I know that the times are changing. AI is here. What are we doing, right? Like I said, just keep staying educated, keep trying to grind, right? Don't get unmotivated that you're not getting hired. I actually don't send out a lot of applications nowadays. I actually send out none. And I rely heavily on referrals, to be completely honest with you. But that's just my take. Again, I'm not out there trying to compete with people, 1,000 applications. I met this one dude, man, I'm not gonna say his name. He told me he sends out applications 4 hours a day. I said, wow, bro. Like, I just couldn't do it, you know what I'm saying? He's been doing it for like a month or two, and I'm like, bro, I just couldn't do it. I don't know how you do it. I would find other, I know why he's doing it, because he's trying to get work, but man, that's like what, 30, that's almost like 20, 30 hours a week just to, damn, bro, that's hardcore. But hey, if that's motivation for you guys, maybe you guys should try that out. Like, just that I'm telling you, that's the first person's ever told me they send out that much applications a day. I don't send any out. I got no time for that, bro. I'd rather do something else. And I like building more, you know what I'm saying? Any of that time that I'm sending applications out, I'm focusing on engineering. All my blood, sweat, tears, and time goes into engineering. I do what I do best. I'm not like applications, you know what I'm saying? That's not me. It's never gonna be me. And like I said, I just build relationships with people, and I think that speaks volumes. When people see my work and they see how good I am, maybe they can put in a referral for me. And that's kind of the game I'm playing. But that's it. Just keeping it simple, guys. Don't get unmotivated. This is a great time to learn. Keep pushing yourselves. Stay positive. I know times are hard, but we're going to get through, man. I'm telling you. You're going to make it if you don't quit. That's my only advice. All right, y'all. Peace.